Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I also have a great topic to talk to you about tonight, and it's which family members who can help you to apply for permanent residence in the United States. I get this question often, and so I want to make some clarification so you know who exactly can do this for you. Now, first of all, I'll tell you who can't do this for you. Who can't. Hi there, Queen Bee. It's nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining. Now, who can't help you to apply for permanent residence? So it's going to be a friend can't help you, cousin can't help you, aunt can't help you directly, grandparents can't help you directly. Who can help you apply is going to be your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, a parent, or a U.S. citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up, or a U.S. citizen sibling who's 21 and up. Those are the relatives who fall within the category of individuals, qualifying family members who can assist you to obtain permanent residence. Now, there is a catch here. Some processes are going to be faster than some. Some processes are quite slow right now. So for instance, being the sibling of a U.S. citizen means that you do qualify for permanent residence. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to wait a minimum of 14 years. In Mexico, it's taking up to 22 years, unfortunately, for siblings of U.S. citizens who are 21 and up to come to the United States as a permanent resident. So it is a frustrating part of the immigration process. Thanks so much, Queen Bee, for sharing the live. I appreciate it. But that is the case. Now, I'm going to go through each category to tell you what the estimated processing time is for each category. Just so you have an idea of the kind of wait time that you are in for, I'll also describe what the process will look like when you're applying for each of these processes. So the fastest process right now is to be the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen and for that relative to apply for you. So if you are the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, that means you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen, you are the parent of a U.S. citizen, and the U.S. citizen is age 21 or up, or you are the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen who is under 21 and unmarried. In that case, you could apply as an immediate relative, and it takes about 18 months to 24 months on average. It's going to depend on the service center, but that is the average time that I have seen for my clients to obtain permanent residence. The processing time is overall for all of these processes, it's backed up and it's taking longer. So a fast process right now means 18 to 24 months. During this process too, being the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen also has an additional benefit. That means that you may potentially have the ability to apply for your adjustment of status that you're permanent resident while being in the United States. Now, you still do have to meet certain requirements, like you do have to show that you entered the country without permission, even if now your stay has expired, and you do have to show that you did, when you came into the country, at the time you're coming into the country, you did not, so for example, if you came in with a visitor's visa, you have to be mindful of those rules. That when you're coming in with a visitor's visa, you're not intending to come in to apply for adjustment of status. And you also have to make sure that you have evidence that you are the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. So I'm going to take pause to answer some questions. Let me remind you that I'm also here to answer your questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. So how long are they taking to set an interview in Juarez? And so it's going to depend on where you are in your case. I am seeing processing times ranging up to a year to wait for the interview, but it's going to depend on where are you. Especially with the pandemic, there were cancellations. And so where are you in your process? It's not down to a science as to how long it's going to take for you, just because each case is different. A mother can file for a child that's 21. So Queen Bee, a permanent resident or U.S. citizen, can file for their child who is 21. But the way it's going to go is going to depend on, for example, their marital status. If the mother is a U.S. citizen, they can apply for a married son or daughter who is 21. But it is going to take about 12 years. They can also apply for their unmarried son or daughter who's 21, but it's going to take about 6 to 7 years. They can now, if they are a green card holder, they can also apply for their 21-year-old, but they must be unmarried. Permanent residents can't apply for married children. Bossy Cookie, you're not late. You are right on time. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. And I'm not far into the topic that I'm talking about, which is who can help you to apply. So which relatives can help you to apply for permanent resident. How long does it take to get travel documents in the VAWA case? So right now it's backed up. You're looking at 7 to 11 months. All right. So keep putting those questions in the comments. What I'm talking about is who can help you to apply for permanent residence in the United States. I have talked about being the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. That's the fastest process right now. It's about 18 to 24 months on average, but keep in mind it depends on service center. It depends on how your case goes. It depends on if anything occurs for there to be delays. So it's going to depend on a number of factors, but based on my experience, 18 to 24 months is what I have seen. I did a petition for my husband. He's in Mexico and I'm in the USA. He's never been in the USA before. Okay. So it sounds like you're already through the process. And so if you're having any issues with the status of your case, you should definitely call the USCIS. If you need assistance in any way, like legal representation, you can always schedule a consultation by going to the link in my bio. There is a link that would allow you to schedule your own appointment, or you can call. There's a scheduling coordinator who's available tonight. It's the last day of the business week, the work week. So you can go ahead and call up to 11 p.m. and you can schedule your consultation and confirm it. I applied in March and got my interview in October. So Jamaican Berry, that can happen. You just have to make sure you go in, you're prepared for your March-based interview so you don't face any further delays. How long is a merit-based visa taking? So you could be looking at 18 to 24 months on average. If I filed an I-751 and they extended for 18 months, can I apply for citizenship if 15 months pass? So as long as even if you're now applying to remove the conditions to renew from the 2-year to the 10-year, as long as you meet the requirements to apply for citizenship, it is possible to apply for it at the same time. What usually happens is once they call you in for the interview, they're going to adjudicate, so process you first, they're going to review your I-751 at the interview. And as long as everything works out to their satisfaction, they're going to approve it on the spot. If not, then they will have additional questions and push back your citizenship interview. But what they will do is if everything works out, they'll approve the I-751 and then move on to the citizenship interview. So it is possible. Can a permanent resident file for a parent? So already before finishing that sentence, no, permanent residents can't apply for their parents. Let's see. How long after approval does it take to get your welcome letter? So you could be looking at a few weeks, and you can always check with the USCIS to make sure that they have the right address, they sent it to the right place. What's the step should one take after the I-130 is approved? So it depends. Bossy Cookie, if your relative who is to the immigrant relative is outside of the United States, then you're going to wait for it to be passed on to the National Visa Center. When it's at the National Visa Center, they're going to go ahead and when they're ready to process your case, as long as an immigrant visa number is available, or if a immigrant visa number is not required, they're going to get started on your process. They're going to go ahead and send you the invoice, an immigrant visa application fee, and then they're going to request certain documentation. So that's if you're going through consular processing, which is where your relative is outside of the United States. If you are in the United States and you have an approved I-130, as well as the number, there is an immigrant visa number available, there may be the possibility for adjustment of status. But with adjustment of status, you have to be careful with it. You'll want to make sure you get legal advice at that point just to make sure it's good to go. You're good to go. How does it take to get a work permit? I think it's how long does it take? So it depends, but it depends on what process you're applying for. What kind of process? Is this marriage based? Is this asylum? Is this the U visa, the T visa, the VAWA? There are different processes that allow you to get the work permit. You can expect at least a couple months. So it could be as little as 4 months to, I'm seeing, even as long as a year. If 15 months passed on the 18-month extension, can I apply for citizenship without receiving the card? So Donna Gordon, it's always best to get personal legal advice. You can go ahead and do that by going to the link in my bio, my profile. You'll be able to schedule your own appointment or call. Because remember, the information here I'm giving you is general information, so you should not act on it. It may be possible to apply for citizenship at the same time that you are applying to remove the conditions on your 2-year green card, but you want to make sure that you qualify. How long does it take to sponsor a sibling? So unfortunately, it's taking 14 years to even as long as 22 years. Depending on which country you're in. In the Caribbean, you're looking at about 14 years. So it feels impossibly long right now. Thanks so much, Bossy Cookie, for sharing the live. I appreciate it. What documents are required for VAWA? So that is going to come down to a personal consultation to evaluate your case. What I can tell you, Austin, is that any credible evidence is going to be acceptable. That means that if it's believable evidence, that's what I help my clients with VAWA cases. Now, for those of you who are just joining in, VAWA is where one can apply for their own work permit, their own permanent residence if they're being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, a parent if you're under 21, under 25 in some cases, or by a U.S. citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. Mistreatment can include, thanks so much for the love, I appreciate it. Mistreatment can include verbal, emotional, mental, as well as financial abuse. Physical definitely qualifies, but keep in mind it is not absolutely required. Someone just has to be abusive. Abuse is abuse in whatever form it comes, or they have to subject you to extreme cruelty. And whatever documents, that's what I help my clients with, is to gather the evidence and create a strong application. It could be your statement. It could be any documentation that shows that you went through this situation. What if my fiance came to the USA and have an alien number? He wants to go back to PK. I don't know if that's Pakistan. Can he come back to the USA? So if he comes here, now just having an alien number is not going to qualify him to travel back and forth. He needs to have the right status. If he came here on a fiance visa, it's valid for 90 days, and it is a multiple entry type of visa. However, if he came here on a visitor, and he came here on a visitor's visa, of course, he can move back and forth on that visitor's visa. However, if he doesn't have the right papers to move back and forth, he wouldn't be able to just come back to the United States. There is what's called a fiance visa. If you are a U.S. citizen and you've seen your fiance in person, no matter what, it could be in the U.S., it could be anywhere else in the world, within the most recent 2 years before you apply for the fiance visa for your fiance, then you could potentially qualify. But you must show that you do have the intention to get married within the 90 days when your fiance comes to the U.S. Okay, so are they looking after visitors' visas? It's going to depend on the embassy and the country right now. You can always go to the official website of the embassy in your country to determine whether they're issuing any notices about what they're doing. Can someone who was deported reapply for a US visa? No, it depends. What I can say is usually if you were deported, then there's chances are you were deported for a reason, and that reason, first of all, deportation alone means that you have to stay outside of the United States for a certain period of time. If that time hasn't passed, you're definitely going to have to apply for what's called permission to reapply for re-entry. And then if what the reason that you were deported has caused you to be inadmissible, you would likely need a waiver to get another visa. That's a more complex topic, and that's where I would have to schedule a consultation with you. My cousin is leaving the state where he was released, in which is Georgia, would that be issued? So Kervin, it's important for him to update the USCIS to make them know that he is changing his address. But I'm not his attorney and I don't know his situation. You definitely need an attorney and need legal advice. Can someone who was deported reapply for a US visa? I did answer that. Does an I-94 letter expire? So an I-94 is a document that shows when you entered and the time, that period that you have. The date can expire on that I-94, and that's what the I-94 is going to show you. So you have to stay within the country for the permitted time that's on the I-94. Donna Gordon, thanks for sharing the live. And Bossy Cookie, thanks for the love. What's the quickest you've seen a CR1 visa process from start to finish? 9 months. All right, so keep putting those questions in the comments. I'm getting excellent questions, and I have one on YouTube. So the USCIS sent me good faith work permit. June 2016, due to attorney's address error, it was returned to the USCIS office. I asked for a replacement. How many months do I have to wait? So with the replacement, you'd have to check with the USCIS on that. Unfortunately, just because everything takes a little time, it could take a few weeks to even months. At this point, you do have an approved work permit, and all they need to do is reissue it. So you probably are not going to have to wait for the 6 to 9 months, but it is going to take a few weeks for them to get that straightened out. Follow up with them and make sure that they're on it. How long I have to wait for a case after I receive the receipt number? Desi Love, it's going to depend on your case. It depends. So the receipt notice just tells you that they have it. They've started processing it, but it's not A receipt notice is not going to be the processing time from the date that you've received your receipt notice is not going to be the same for all the cases. What if you want to go on a program and your passport will be expired in a year's time? So usually to get the visa, you have to have a passport that's valid for at least 6 months. After 1 year case at Visa Center, how much longer to hear from them after filing I-130? Jerome, it depends on what case. I wouldn't be able to tell you the processing times. I would have to know who's applying for you. I'd have to know what your situation is. I would have to know what your situation is. What's the status? What's your age? So I wouldn't be able to tell you that because I'm not your attorney and I haven't submitted that application. If you want to check processing times, you can always contact the USCIS, or you can go to the USCIS.gov website, go to case processing times, and you'll see there. If there is no priority date for you, does it make sense reapplying with I-130 alone and not the I-485? Stat Will 91, you'll have to schedule a consultation because I would have to first determine what your relationship is, how are you applying. If you are applying and you don't have a priority date and you need an immigrant visa number, you wouldn't qualify for adjustment of status. So you have to be very careful about that, and you should schedule a consultation. Now, to schedule a consultation, you can go to the link in my bio and you will see all the options there to go ahead and schedule on your own, or go to the website where you can see a contact number to call. There's a scheduling coordinator who's available up until 11 p.m. tonight. And then over the weekend, you can schedule your own appointment, and then the scheduling coordinator will follow up with you to send you the information to finalize the appointment. So husband filing for wife. Okay, and then what is this? What's the status of the husband? What's the so I'd have to know that as well. So Jerome, you're looking at an 18 to 24 month process. Would it affect my case if I leave the country? So Fernando Tello, I didn't see the rest of your question. In some cases, it could affect your application if you leave the country. You want to be very careful about that. Especially if you are out of status or you're in the middle of your process and you don't have a travel document. What of visitors visa? Are they accepting applications right now for that? It depends, Trishan, on the embassy. And there are so many embassies across the world that right now they have different processes just because of the COVID crisis. Some countries may not be going through it as severely, and so they may have moved forward with the visitors visa process, while some haven't. Like Jamaica, I know those are backed up and they aren't even scheduling. The last I checked, they weren't scheduling. I know that they are having interviews for those that have scheduled in the past, but unfortunately it's backed up. You know, they're scheduling into 2023 now. I'm petitioning and case is in NVC. I want to quit my job because I hate it. Will it hurt my husband? So short stuffed 5, it may. If you can find a co-sponsor to help you sponsor your spouse and to show that you can meet the income requirements to support him, then not having a job may not be a problem. But if you don't have someone who can step in and show that they meet the income requirements, it could very well be a big problem for you. So Jerome, so you're looking at about 18 to 24 months, and that's the average time based on my experience. But keep in mind that it's going to depend on the embassy and what happened in your case, and so forth. What are the circumstances in your case? If Paul married to a lady who is not a citizen, but she has a green card, can Paul? So if Paul is outside of the United States, um, and Paul married a green card holder, then sure. If Paul is in the United States, out of status, and married a green card holder, or even if he's in status and married a green card holder, she still would be able, she or he would still be able to apply for the permanent residence for Paul, but they would have to be very careful. There may be additional steps if he is out of status. Do you know if Haiti's scheduling, or is it backed up? So you would, at this time, everywhere is backed up. So that is why the processing times are taking anywhere from 3 months to even up to a year to get appointments. And then keep in mind that there were the issues in Haiti, and so that I'm pretty sure has caused even more of a backlog and chaos there. So keep those questions coming. I'm going to finish up the topic about who can help you to apply for U.S. Permanent residence. If you are a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse, parents, a parent, a citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up, or a citizen sibling who's 21 and up, then it may be possible. But in some cases, permanent residence would be very, very far in your future. Just because, for example, applying through a U.S. citizen sibling who's 21 and up is taking anywhere from 14 years to 22 years. Laws Fabian, thanks so much for the rose. I appreciate it. If you are the married son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, you're looking at 12 years. If you are the son or daughter of a green card holder, 21 and up, age 21 and up, you're unmarried, you have to be unmarried in this case, it's going to be 5 to 6 years. If you are the son or daughter of a green card holder under 21 and unmarried, you're looking at around 18 to 24 months. Right now, there is no wait list for an immigrant visa number, but keep in mind, these wait times can change at any time. If you are the son or daughter aged 21 and unmarried of a U.S. citizen, you're looking at 6 to 7 years. And then finally, if you're the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, that means you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen, you're the parent of a U.S. citizen, you are the parent of a U.S. citizen who is 21 and up. That's a very important distinction here. So just having a child is not enough. They have to be 21 and up to apply for you. Or if you're the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen who is under 21 and unmarried, then that is the fastest process, and you don't need to wait for an immigrant visa number to become available. And that's why that category, they get through faster. And the additional benefit here is if you fall within the category of being an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, you could possibly qualify for adjustment of status. That means you could stay here in the United States and apply for permanent residence, a work permit while you wait, and a travel document while you wait. As long as you came into the country with a visa, even if now it's expired or you've overstayed. If you cross a border without permission, though, and you did not come in with a visa, it's going to likely be a waiver process. You can always schedule a consultation to explore your options. That is the best thing, because remember, the information I'm giving you tonight is general information to empower you with knowledge about your upcoming immigration journey or your current immigration journey, but it's certainly not meant for you to take any action, because just one fact in your case can change your entire situation and could change even the legal advice that I would give you. How long does it take after an I-90 typographical error to get your green card? So they are backed up as well. So it depends on their processing times. You can look at the service center that's processing your case, and you'll be able to get the information about their timeline. That's going to be the best thing. I'm seeing anywhere from 9 months to 12 months to get those back. But keep in mind, yours could be shorter, it could be longer, and I'm giving you the times that I have observed. Now I'm going to head on over to Instagram to continue the live. I have a pre-scheduled live there. If you want to continue to ask questions, or you want to continue to have a conversation about how relatives can help you to obtain permanent residence in the United States, go ahead and join me there. As a matter of fact, I usually release videos on Instagram. I release videos on YouTube as well on a regular basis, multiple times a day. It contains tips, it contains updates, it contains information about different ways that you could fix your status if you're here out of status. If you're outside of the US, ways that you can obtain permanent residence in the United States. Ways that you can get a visa to come here and live here, a business visa. So go ahead, join me there, and then you can follow me and learn more. So you can go on TikTok. I do lives every night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, but I'm not releasing any videos on TikTok. I'm releasing them on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I am the immigration attorney on YouTube. I'm the immigration attorney on Instagram. I'm ST Law Office on Facebook. So I'm going to be on Facebook and I'm going to be on Instagram, the immigration attorney, in a minute. Thanks so much for the love. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your awesome questions. I will be back tomorrow night at around 9 p.m. Eastern time, where you can always ask me any immigration related questions. I'll also come with a topic that I think will be informative. So I hope to see you there, or I hope to speak with you in a consultation next week. Go to the link in my profile if you would like to go ahead and schedule an appointment. All right, have a good night. Thanks everyone for sharing the live. I'll see you tomorrow.